Welcome to Center of Light. Always good to see you on a sacred night. Do you believe in divine magic? Or holy hell tragic? What do you believe? It's rhetorical. Just ask yourself, do you believe in divine magic, miracles, if that's a better, safe word for you? Or do you believe in holy hell tragic? Hear me. Ignorance is not bliss. It creates not needed anxiety, as this subject for this presentation does to many people. Tonight I will clear up a long-held misconception surrounding a tool of divination, Ouija board. Tonight is Center of Light play. I'm not suggesting you play with a Ouija board. We'll get to that shortly. But play, meaning all a divine sport, divine play, Leela. It's all the play of God. Even or odd, again, do you believe in divine magic, miracles, or do you believe in hellish, hellfire, tragic? Tonight I will clear up a long-held misconception surrounding this tool of divination. Some of what you think about this subject is true. Some. Actually, it's a little more popular than that, but some of what you think about it is true, while most of what you don't know is also true. Join me for a night into the mysterious supernatural world of divine play. Boo! You have incarnated into a world of density, darkness, and chaos, only to be a part of it, transforming it into one of fluidity, light, and order. And you are still doing it by offering your all to it. Well played, my friend. Well played. Tonight is Center of Light. Play. We're curious little shits, aren't we? See you in a minute. Welcome to Center of Light, all you light workers. Center of Light Foundation. Everything's backwards and perfect. There we go. Center of Light Foundation. You're the foundation of Center of Light. Dr. Katie Kamara and I have started a few days ago. We have an LLC, but we've created a foundation page. Welcome to Center of Light. Good to see you tonight. We're going to delve into a subject. If you take anything I say ever out of context, and you get butt chapped, it ain't me. It means you don't know me. But I say things very passionately and sincerely because they deliver a point. That's the point. That they deliver them so much, it triggers us. You want to be triggered. You want to be triggered. So it triggers us into a space of mystery, supernatural possibly, depending on what it is. It's always supernatural. If God is involved, it is supernatural. Many people attribute God to this being that is lofty and flighty up there. God is natural. It's the natural state of everything. In fact, it is so natural. It's super in its naturalness. We're going to be speaking about playing with an Ouija board. The wheels are already turning, and the dogma and the script is already burning and churning and yearning. It's not what you think, but it is. It's exactly what you think. So we're going to be speaking about the paranormal. Four things you can never change. You exist, all is one, one is the all. What you put out, you get back. Hence the Ouija board, hence Center of Light play. What you put out, you get back. The only thing you can never change is change itself. For those who are watching on the many platforms, that thank you to Dr. Katie Camara. I'm now going to post a link to Homecoming, Crossing the Bridge to the Soul, my most recent release, my bestseller. Purchase it. Leave me a review. Check it out. Let me know. Oops, let me grab that link real quick. If you are watching on one of the many platforms I am now broadcasting to, if you're on YouTube, stay there. Fantastic. If you are on my personal Facebook page or Center of Light group page, whatever, make sure you go anyway to the Center of Light Foundation page, which is facebook.com/Center of Light Foundation. All in the future, all of Dr. Katie Camara and I's affairs, love affairs with you, are going to be happening there. Center of Light group is for fun. It's for banter. It's for conversation. It's for you sharing your thoughts. It's always about you sharing your thoughts. Tonight, I'm going to share some thoughts with you about playing in the supernatural. And the doorway is a planchette, what it's called. It happens to be heart-shaped. Just asking the question, just throwing a nugget out there. On a board made of whatever particle board nowadays, back then it was made of wood. What is this? It's just a board. And it has numbers, just like this spiritual book. There's numbers. The bottom of the page right here is a number. And in chronological order, it goes through all the digits as we fidget. But also it has words, letters. How is this, I'm asking a question, how is this, or the Bible even, which is full of numbers and letters, how is it any different? Good question. I'm glad you asked. I thought you never would. Is it what we bring to the situation that makes everything what it's going to be? I think so. In fact, I'm sure of it, for me. So now we're going to delve, I love that word, delve into the world of the supernatural. The two links I posted just a minute ago are to direct you directly to Center of Light Foundation. GoFundMe page. Please donate to Center of Light. Hello, Dolores. Hello, Chris Cook, Melinda, Danage, Abulita. Center of Light works pro bono. Share it, please. Share bono. Sonny and share bono. All right, let's get down to some beeswax. Again, I like announcing the titles of my shows because it helps me to get into the energy. As a wordsmith, every word is different, even though they may be synonyms or homonyms. And Hajimamonym. Tonight is Center of Light play Ouija. It's not what you think it is, but it's exactly what you think it is. People say, and have said to me in my past, you should not be messing with that devil stuff. Thank you for caring about me. Really. You should not be messing with that devil stuff. Because you can summon demons if you don't know what you're doing. Devils, demons, this, that, and the other. Devils and demons. I have heard from many sisters and brothers about my path, and that's okay. But this is all a teaching tool. That's a lot of heavy devil stuff when I'm not the one thinking about it. With that, I ask, in general, who is giving credence? Who is giving credence to a devil? Is it me or those who are so worried about something they have no clue about? I get it. It's dogma, it's script, it's scripture, it's been passed, it's been handed, it is doctrine, it is all those things that we just simply buy into because we trust and believe other people who themselves are ignorant, know nothing about anything. I've noticed tonight, as I do my analytics, and the people probably here tonight throughout the entire world, I've gotten more analytical attention by how many people chimed in, tapped in, as to why it was calculated in the dark stuff, more so than when I talk about God itself and how beautiful and sexy you are. This makes a very important point. Have a shot of wine, whatever it is, smoke a joint. Let's go into the supernatural. I will take you there. You're safe. You always have been. You always will be. Tonight, I've noticed there are many people who have been interested in the dark arts. But when I speak about light, we just said that, hence my point. Not only are people scared of a devil and demons, believe it or not, they're scared of God and angels. If you and I were chilling and I was at your house or you were over here and I said, you know what? I've learned something recently. And I ask you, if I could summon one of the highest order of divine angels, would you be open to it? Chew on that. Don't answer right away. Chew on that. One, the issue of judgment comes into play. The reflection, which is I feel guilty for the things I've done because now I'm vulnerable and exposed. Some people will automatically think that if I am absolutely sure I'm going to engage with a higher level angelic being, their position, understandingly, may be, are you sure or is it deceiving you? I get all those levels of playing. Tonight is Center of Light play, divine sport or Leela. Ouija. What is the Ouija board? It's everything. It's always the same, as above, so below, on forever it will go. Not only are people scared of a devil, they are scared of God. If we were chilling and we summoned an angel, would you do it? If you play with an Ouija board, I don't know why I call it a Ouija, but it's really Ouija. I will tell you this. If you play, hence tonight is Center of Light play, if you play, because y'all giddy and stuff, you heard about this new craze back in the 70s called the Ouija board. And you go in there childlike, even though you're powerful in your innocence, you are still vulnerable and ignorant. And the level of what it is you are crafting, hence the word spelling. We're casting spells with our words. Melinda says, who died and put you in charge? I like to say, I love it. If you play with an Ouija board, it will play back. It's not its nature. Its nature is what you bring to the table, or the board rather. You see, because you are the CEO of your life. You are a board member. And how are you treating it? As a boss? Are you playing, or are you understanding what it is that you are wielding in the form of power? The Ouija board is a tool. It's a divination tool. It's no different than an automobile. Well, you sure? Absolutely. You can run someone over with your automobile, or you can pick up elderly people to take them to a cafe to have or Piccadilly to have their lunch with 10 of them. So is the automobile evil, or is it a tool for damning or damaging or salvation and elevation? Same thing with a knife. You can kill someone with a chef's knife, or you can chop up some nice vegetables, and because you love your family, you can make them a beautiful, wonderful meal and create sustenance in the household. The Ouija board is no different. I'm going to lay this out for you. I'm not asking you again to go buy a Ouija board. It's about the understanding. It releases anxiety. That is not necessary. How did my path all start? Many people don't know this. When I started getting my walk on from a crawl, a wobbly walk on from a crawl, my then mentor, Mike, enlightened me to some ideas, and I took to them right away. But the beginning, after Mike and I had our 6 months together, and he bantered and dialogued with me back and forth. One day I'm sitting at my house, and a friend of mine, God bless him, he's passed, Kenya, Todd Young, is sitting on this couch, love seat, while I'm sitting on the couch. And we're hanging out, just chilling. He says, hey Keith, have you ever, his words, have you ever played with a Ouija board? I said, bro, it's been many years. Many years. He goes, do you have any issues with it? I said, no, I don't. He goes, and then I thought about it. And when I thought about it, what if all the hype is true and all the infinite potential is true? I got nervous. Even with the infinite potential, the good stuff. And when I realized the issue I was having digesting his question he put to me, I said, fuck that. Let's go to Walmart and get one. We got one. I knew unequivocally, without a doubt, that I was given a key to a subconscious doorway. I knew it. And I had enough conscious spiritual awareness, knowledge, wisdom, wits about me to know that I was using a keyboard, the Ouija board, a keyboard, to type in numbers and letters. What is the difference? The internet is supernatural. It's everywhere, all-knowing and all-powerful, because information is power. I knew I was approaching a subconscious typewriter. And I also knew I had to be very, very clear. So Kenya and I bought a Ouija board. So we started. The first day was really nothing. You know, are we moving this? It's just a game. I have no result. It's just a toy. So after a few attempts at this, another friend by the name of Wendy and Kevin and Melanie, possibly Gretchen, possibly whoever, myself, people started coming over. Well, because of the conscious power and the conscious interest, collective conscious interest, things started happening. They started happening. I have not had one negative, bad experience, not one. Except the time the alien ripped out of my chest. Not one. So I knew I had to surround the board, really. Not the board. Not even really myself. That was the ritual. But I knew I just simply had to be clear. This is how this really all started for me. The Ouija board. Am I demonic? Does anything I do represent the realm of the dark arts? No. Doesn't make me special. It makes me successful at disproving ignorance, as well as the many people that hung around when this was always just going down, because we were curious. We wanted to understand. We wanted something greater than we always knew. So I began to surround the board with light. Dear all that is good, most powerful, and most beautiful, that serves everyone equally, gracefully, infinitely, kind of thing. Bring your angels and yourself, intelligences, what's the word I'm looking for? Thought, higher thought forms, and dismiss, and I will do my part as well, anything not of the light. I never had an issue. Not one day, not one night. Never. Tonight is Center of Light Play. Ouija. What is it? It's simply a tool. You can use a hammer to build a house, or you can smack someone over the head and leave an indent. It's just a tool. It's not the gruel that we have all been fooled into believing into. It's horseshit. It's nonsense. Let me see what my notes say. I got a little bit of reading to tell you a little more about what's happening, what has happened in my life surrounding the Ouija board, as to how and why this spiritual path, at least for myself, all started. So Wendy, myself, and the group began to hang out. But one day, Wendy was over, and we were bored. Had nothing to do, we were bored. We were Ouija bored. She says, hey Keith, you want to go, again her words, you want to go play with the Ouija board? I said, sure. That day changed my life forever. That day. That was a very monumental, no joke, other than the birth of my son. Probably the most monumental day in my life. And it had to do with me playing with a Ouija board. When Wendy and I began to place not only our hands, our intent of love, peace, unity, and being of service on the planchette, it began to glide so quickly. I won't give her last name here, but if you want to ask her for confirmation, she will probably tell you more than I do. And things begin to happen. The words begin to unfold. Messages begin to be said. We weren't looking, we were beyond, are you doing that? Are you doing that? We were way beyond that. We knew that the this was happening. And the board kept saying at one point, Keith, close your eyes and speak your mind. I said, what will I talk about? Keith, close your eyes and open your mouth. Over and over. And I thought, I've been doing this with Wendy and a few others for a little while, enough to know that I'm only attracting high levels of energy, not the lower stuff, not the demonic. My intent is clear. You cannot fuck with me. You cannot. I won't let you. You can't mess with my mind. You can't mess with my emotions. You can't mess with my soul because it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to me, which at my soul level is God. You apply as well in this analogy. So the entity, the energy kept saying, speak. What will I say? Keith, just speak. And I thought to be clever to say, all right, I want to be a channel. I want to channel higher loving energies. I'll make a deal with you. I will do what you're asking if you help me to become a channel, which I didn't realize it was already trying to give me what I was asking for through the deal I was trying to make with it. I have a book that was written in by Wendy. When I said, okay, I'll do it. And I didn't realize I was getting what I was asking for until about 20 seconds into it. So I just closed my eyes and my mouth started moving. This is before my experience with spirit in the highest capacity when I was awakened in the morning that spawned the divine principle. This was pre or earlier than that. So as 20 minutes I'm into this just speaking, I realized I was being given with the very thing I was asking for. Eventually, a friend of mine who kept frequenting these sessions created an angel board instead of us using the Ouija board. He was an artist, very creative guy. And it was an angelic symbol, the Star of David, implying humans reach up to God, God reaches down to humans. It was beautiful, and the nature of it was to change the intention from all the negative connotation from the Ouija board, which I didn't have any issue with, but it's just basically leveling up our intention. It's not a Ouija board, it's not a spirit board, it's not a demonic board, it's an angel board. It sets further into stone the integration of our intention. It's a tool. The group would often come over. We would surround the board with light and call in the angels. One night with the group Ra, the sun god Ra, R-A. These two girls were moving the planchette. We went through, are you moving it? Are you moving it? We went through all that. And then the phenomena began to happen. And the two girls, because they followed many, they were somewhat new, so they're just following the cadence of those before. Where are you from? And the being said, I am from the sun. And they said, what is your name? And it said, Ra. And they said, where are you? And they kept this banter, this question, and I said, it is Ra. And they didn't know who Ra was, so I explained it to them. So, testing the energy field, the entity that we were conversing with. We wanted to test your level of divinity, that if you know something that there's no way you can possibly know, it would further anchor with us, the group, that you are of a divine nature. So I decided to pull out a book from the shelf, and it so happened to be a book that was Ra, who channeled through, I don't know the author's names. It was called The Law of One. And so I'm going to test this entity energy spirit. I opened the book at random and I pointed to a word. It happened to be on chapter 8, second paragraph kind of thing. It said, if you are truly Ra and I am holding this book that you supposedly vesseled through these authors, what word am I looking and pointing at? And it said energy. Ding, 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 ding. Grand prize. I'm not trying to convince you. I'm sharing with you what actually took place. When Wendy and I had our session that day, and I began to speak, this is when the Jesus stuff began to come out. The birth of the man that we have known through Scripture as Jesus, who has perfected himself in such a way that he rose into Christ consciousness. And as Christians, or however we follow the path, it is our turn. This is when all the Jesus stuff began to come out. If you are curious about the dialogue I had in that first session about Jesus being born as a baby in the century of 2000, I will send it to you. Drove me nuts. It would not leave me alone in a bothersome / beautiful way. The Ouija board is also known as a spirit board or talking board. It is a flat board marked with letters of the alphabet and the numbers 0 through 9. The word yes and no, occasionally hello and goodbye, along with various symbols and graphics. It uses a planchette, the heart-shaped mobile thing, piece of wood or plastic, as a movable end detector to spell out messages during a seance. Participants place their fingers on the planchette and it moves about the board to spell out words. Ouija is a trademark of Hasbro, but it is often generically referred to any talking board. Spiritualists in the United States believed that the dead, I see dead people. Spiritualists in the United States believed that the dead were able to contact the living versus the living contact the dead. I just caught that. Reportedly used a talking board very similar to a modern Ouija board at their camps in the United States of Ohio in 1886 to ostensibly enable faster communication with spirits. Following its commercial introduction by businessman Elijah Bond on 1st of July, 1890, the Ouija board was regarded as an innocent parlor game unrelated to the occult until American spiritualist Pearl Curran popularized it and used it as a divining tool during World War I. I did some research on that today on how it was used very often in World War I, strategic-wise in military, as well as other reasons. Paranormal and supernatural beliefs associated with the Ouija have been criticized by the scientific community and are characterized as pseudoscience. The action of the board can most easily be explained by unconscious movements of those controlling the pointer and psychological phenomenon known as ideomotor effect. Mainstream Christian denominations, including Catholicism, have warned against using the Ouija boards, holding what they lead to demonic possession. Occultists, on the other hand, are divided on the issue, with some saying that it can be a tool for positive transformation. I am an absolute testimony witness. Others reiterated the warnings of many Christians and caution inexperienced users against it. Totally. So in this last reading I did, it said it's been explained away as ideomotor movements effect. Okay, I agree with that. Totally agree with that, because that's exactly what it is. It is exactly what it is. But where is the input of information coming from that creates the movement of the planchette? Or another divination tool known as you what is moving you inside. It's a divination tool. Your body is a tool of the divine. And therefore, you move accordingly to whether you're in the magic or the tragic. Idiomotor effect. It is, in effect, exactly what's taking place. Hello, beautiful Nori. Hello, Debbie Trotter. Hello, Dolores. So let's look at things honestly. There's no bullshit. So let's truly just look at it. I'm going to pull out a divination tool, y'all. Ooh! I'm making fun and I'm bringing to light nonsense. A divination tool, the Ouija board. This is our make-do a Ouija board being moved by idiomotor effect. This is a beautiful God-created stone someone bought for me. It's called an earth obsidian. It's made by God's hand. It's creation. Came from Mount St. Helens that blew up and melted rock into glass. That's all this is. It's beautiful, and if I didn't lead into this with being a divination tool, you go, oh my God, Keith, where can I get one? So let's look at the idiomotor effect. It's going to stay, I swear to you on my son, myself, and all that is important to me, I'm not manipulating this chain. Of course, I have a weight in my hand, and so my arm is moving. Let's be real about it. Idiomotor effect. Let's get it still as possible. I'm going to think of the word yes. As I do this, look at my hand. You're going to see that, in fact, for me to cheat, I have to really move my hand to get this thing to move. So that it cancels out it debunks everything. So to get this thing to move in a circle, I have to move my hand. So I'm going to speak to my subconscious. When I said earlier, the Ouija board is a subconscious typewriter. No different than your keyboard that you use for your computer. There is no difference except application and intent. So I'm just going to say subconscious God. How about God? God, show me a yes response on this beautiful creation of yours. More definitive, please. Extremely definitive. Starts a circular motion. Extremely definitive, please. Let me know that you are truly telling me this is a yes response. Show me a no response, and immediately goes side to side. Did you see that? Show me a yes response, and it goes into a circle. Show me a yes response. Show me a no response, definitively. So what's happening is my hand is moving. I'm not doing it. It's my conversation with levels of my subconscious mind that are moving my hand ever so slightly. So please keep in mind, it takes me to move my hand to make this thing move. But what happens when you have a conversation with God, higher self, higher consciousness, higher thought forms, the energy is not being moved by the intention through the finger to make things happen. It's being moved by the energy that's going down the wire, the string, to not only manipulate it to make things happen, it becomes a vessel for the things that are happening via the conversation. Tonight is Center of Light play. You're always playing. We're always playing. We're playing with everything. The things we hold sacred, the things we hold blasphemic, you're always playing with something. What are you playing with the most? Really? Song break, going to be right back. I got a couple of videos for you about the history, as well as some positive experiences. I didn't listen to the whole video, but I watched enough of it to feel that it was solid for this presentation. So I'm going to be right back. Center of Light play, a Ouija board. I was bored that day and I played with the Ouija and it changed my life.
100 million pieces, making one of each and every heart, giving one love like you really mean it, seeing one in each other every day. Loving one is how to get to heaven, sharing one the love that you are, hearing one that little voice inside, being one with all the people, teaching one all the children about love, finding one your own peaceful heart, causing one to feel peace too, and that's the way, and that's the way to be one. Being one that lives to make a difference, caring for one who really needs a friend, opening one to truth that they see, yeah, lifting one to dwell in the kingdom, dwell in the kingdom, sending one only thoughts of happiness, receiving one love that's your gift, think as one ends the separation, being one saves the world, teaching one all the children about love, finding one your own peaceful heart, causing one to feel peace too, and that's the way. Teaching one all the children about love, finding one your own peaceful heart, cause the world to feel peace too, and that's the way. That's the way to be one. To be one. To be one.
Welcome back to Center Light. Tonight we have been talking about playing around with stuff you have no idea that you might be playing around with. Ouija, bored. People get bored. They want to play games. They want entertainment. The Ouija board is not what you think, but it's exactly what you think. My sister poses this beautiful teaching tool question, and I want to say thank you, Debbie. This is not about enticing anyone to go to Walmart and get a Hasbro Ouija board, but she asked this very amazing teaching tool question. I never touched it, she says. I hear you. I never touch it. In the past, I used the Ouija and demons came. I hear you. Never again. It's dangerous. She knows it for a fact. It's a gateway to a dark world. But now I know how to stay. But now I know how to say things. But still, I don't touch it. I get it. What it really is, Debbie, if I may offer a nugget, this is not to influence you. It's a teaching tool. It's not a gateway to a dark world. It is that. It's simply just a gateway to another world, another place where magic or tragic happens. It's a doorway. The same gate that we go through when we pass to God is the same gate we pass through when we go to a hellish reality. It's the same vaginal passageway. It just so happens in this regard, this is a doorway that takes us to realms that if we don't understand, it gets spooky in there. Change is always spooky. You like comfort. And so I strongly suggest, if you're not such a one, with the cojones, the spiritual awareness, something you just don't want. You don't want to just get in a car, an automobile, if you don't have an awareness of how the machine truly operates. You just bought a brand new car. You're not sure of the racket pinion steering. You're not sure of how the car handles. And you just want to get in there, and you just bought this car and you drive it off the lot. And you want to see with this new Ferrari, spiritual Ferrari that you got, what it can do. You're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill other people. It's a tool. It's a vehicle to take us to another place. But I do understand, and I applaud and appreciate your awareness of such things. That, congrats. Hello, my brother Robert Ted Ruiz. That boy is growing like wildfire. Ted, I'm acknowledging, bro. Good for you. All right, let's get into some audio bites. I found a little trick of how to no, it doesn't matter. I got a couple of audio bites for you. I can't show them because there are encodings and timestamps and all these things embedded. So I will give you the audio version of it. There will be some music behind it because I don't want to get a pankin on my social media presentation. Heine. The history of the Ouija board. Are you playing with it, or are you sincere to find yourself? It's two different things. Anything can be a tool. Your hands are a tool. To hug or to slap. It's a choice to be ignorant or not. It doesn't mean you have to go get a board. It means that you alleviate, you relieve and release yourself by knowledge and wisdom. It's not what it's exactly what you thought. It's not what you thought, but it's exactly what you thought. And as you think, when you step onto an immediate manifesting stage called the Ouija board and you play with it, the center of your light will give you exactly what you're wanting, conscious or not. Audio presentation number 1, the history of the Ouija.
The city of Baltimore has always cast long and storied shadows of its past. One Baltimore native was boldly preoccupied with creating an oracle into the future.
People were questioning their faith, questioning religion, looking for answers on their own.
July 1898, Baltimore native William Fuld and his brother Isaac signed a contract to manufacture and sell the infamous Ouija board, the fabled parlor game that more than satisfied America's turn-of-the-century lust for spiritualism.
People need hope. They're just grasping onto religion, spirituality.
William couldn't manufacture Ouija boards fast enough. In all, he would expand his enterprise to 7 Baltimore locations, including this factory on North Central Avenue, now a funeral parlor, and his largest 3-story factory on Harford Avenue, a building that would play a sinister role in the mystifying Ouija legend. Fuld's Ouija board was believed by many to be a direct link to the dead. Otherworldly spirits would gently glide the hands of the living on a planchette, which would lead the curious mortal to a series of letters, numbers, or symbols that adorn this inauspicious game board.
Back in those days, my family always said it's a game. Totally. Not to be taken seriously.
You sort of have to believe in it. You just sit down, clear your mind, put your hands up on the board, and wait for something to happen. Sometimes nothing happens, and sometimes you get some pretty creepy results.
The Ouija board quickly became the #1 selling board game in America. It is said Bill Wilson, founder of Alcoholics Anonymous, claimed he received the 12-step program from none other than the Ouija board. But not every apparition that controlled the planchette would be so generous. World-renowned magician Harry Houdini, who often cast a cold eye toward the paranormal, said he knew 5 people who went insane using this 3-ply bird's-eye maple game board.
I think it all depends on the person that's playing with the board. If you have bad intentions and you're asking the wrong questions and you want the wrong answers to come through, the wrong answers and the wrong questions will be answered.
William Fold's intentions were good, if good meant dollar signs. The self-proclaimed Presbyterian soon became a millionaire, but his newfound wealth came at a ghastly price. Just 3 years after the two signed their contract, William Fold completely cut his brother Isaac out of the talking board business, igniting a lifelong blood feud between brothers.
Apparently, Isaac was walking off with money.
After failing repeatedly in court to reclaim his share of the Ouija profits, Isaac went into the insurance business. Meanwhile, at 57, William parlayed his astounding success into a toy manufacturing empire.
He made numerous toys, inventions. He made the return pool table, calculators, handfuls and handfuls of toys.
In February of 1927, William Fold was overseeing the replacement of a flagpole on the roof of his factory when the iron support he was leaning against inexplicably gave way. All of a sudden, William Fold tumbled backwards, plummeting 3 stories and landing on solid concrete. His injuries were mortal. One of his cracked ribs had actually pierced his heart. But William Fold had one final request that was foremost in his mind, and it dealt with his beloved Ouija board.
Never sell the Ouija board.
In 1966,
Yeah.
William Fold's oldest son, Will, began suffering a series of strokes, and in his 70s, sold the Ouija company to Parker Brothers, now Hasbro, on the very anniversary of William Fold's catastrophe.
And after they sold the business in 1966, he was very depressed.
Eerie,
For more than a century, the Ouija board has been many things
mysterious,
to many people.
creepy.
He was made out of plywood and plastic. Are you scared of that? You know?
Few can deny that this eerie game board's past has been checkered and profoundly tragic. And to this day, William Fold's vision continues to confound and even terrify people the world over. Don't take our word for it. Just ask the Ouija board. Well,
All right, what I heard in that delivery was nonsense, something that is nonsensical. He told the story of everything that happened, but did you catch what was said when what was said was, don't ever sell a Ouija board. It's horseshit. You were lied to. That was an experience that they used to calculate the happenings that happened, to say, well, it's because they sold the Ouija board and this is all the karma that happened. It's wrong. It's not right at all. Doesn't work that way. Until you believe it. And when you believe that you're not supposed to sell a Ouija board, it will become true for you when you do. It's nonsense. That is the principle, the law, if you will, of the Ouija board itself. What you bring to it. He jacked his brother out of the money. He did all these things. He broke a rib when he leaned against something, and the rib, Adam's rib, long stretch, but I'm just throwing it out there, punctured his heart, the symbol, the metaphorical truth of love itself. Why? I'm just throwing out bones, ribs. He jacked his brother out of the money and probably felt guilty, and guilt always looks for punishment. And someone said it's because yesterday he sold the Ouija board, and it started a whole new religion. The cult of don't sell your Ouija board religion. It's nonsense. You are the power. The power that creates worlds and universes lives inside of you. It is you. And the very breath that you breathe every day, every second, every minute, every hour, it is your power to call your soul back to you. Audio number 2. This girl's pretty cray-cray in a good way. Her experiences, check them out. It's a doorway. Simply, it's a doorway. It is nothing else. In fact, your car is a doorway. It's a vehicle to move you forward, however you choose to do that. In fact, to get in the car, you have to open a door. To use the bathroom, you have to open a door. To leave your house, you have to open the door. To get into your house, you have to open the door. You're always opening doors.
Ouija board definitely something that just has tons of controversy swirling around it. Tons of people just think it's like absolutely trafficking with evil, and like if you touch one, you're gonna instantly explode, and like I would never ever discredit anyone's paranormal story. Never ever. So what I'm about to say, seriously, please don't let it offend you. But there's nothing about this piece of cardboard in itself that's evil. No. Now, I 100% believe that you can have an entity around you or in your home or, anywhere where you might be investigating, and they may already be demonic, they may already be evil, but is just touching this board and using it going to instantly bring evil to you? No. Like, I just can't. I don't know. I've never had that experience. So, thankfully. I mean, I don't want that experience. I am going to just brief y'all on really, really quick history about it, because I think that that's where a lot of the fear comes from, is people just really don't know. This is just like a traditional model of the Ouija board. There's lots of different names for them. Ouija board, talking board, spirit board. Ones that I like a lot are, and I've seen them only in New Orleans, and the ones that I've made, but they take handkerchiefs or cloths and put, the basic alphabetical and numerical characters that you need. But that is a lot more functional for me personally, taking to investigations. Do I want to take this giant piece of board, or do I want to take a little handkerchief that I can fold up, and put in my pocket? Or I've even worn them as a headband. Seriously, Ouija headband. What's up with that? Ouija is actually a yes board. That's really what that means, because oui in French means yes, and ja in German means yes. This was actually invented in the late 1890s by a businessman. I've read it both ways. Some people say he was a lawyer, some people say he was a businessman. But one of the things that I always have to do when I really think about anything in life is look at it in its historical relevancy, and like I'm really big into history. So everything kind of has a purpose in the time that it was created. And mostly this became very popular in the US during World War I. And that's because, think about it, it was a very, very impacting time. Lots of people were losing loved ones. Lots of people were having, sudden loss. And in anything like that, there's always going to be people who are trying to contact their loved ones that are dead. So that is really, really when Ouija boards came to light. Now, the other thing that I'm just going to say right off the bat, in the paranormal investigating world, I by no means would credit this as like the greatest tool that you can use. I'm much more into EVPs personally, and I'm much more into things that I can play back and review over and over again. There's also a great deal of possibility, and it's been scientifically tested, that everything that happens on a Ouija board could be caused by the ideomotor effect. I always say that wrong. Ideometer effect. I'm from the South. We say things strange. Sometimes if you sit really, really still, I mean, I have like the caffeine shakes all the time, but your hand has your pulse. You know, you can take your pulse in your hand. And so no matter what you do, no matter how still you try and be, like, your hand is still naturally going to move. Also, you know, you're always gonna have a jokester in the crowd. You're always gonna have somebody who's like desperately wanting the answer to be this or that, or spell this or that. So, you know, I mean, as honest as I can be with the sessions that I've used this tool, you know, can I 100% vouch for everyone I've ever used this with? No. If you don't want to spend $22 on the Parker Brothers version, you can make your own. Seriously, I've made Ouija boards over the years out of everything, like pizza boxes, pieces of cardboard, you know, just whatever is lying around. Because this is called a planchette, and this is the traditional shape of a planchette, but honestly, you can use any lightweight clear glass, like a shot glass. So now my most interesting experience with a Ouija board actually happened pretty recently. I traveled with one of my best friends. He's like my brother. We've been best friends for like 18 years. But he's from Louisiana, and I went to Louisiana with him. I was hanging out with his cousins. We were actually staying at their house, and as soon as I walked into this house, like, I just had that feeling. I was like, okay, this is like, something's going on here, you know, but I just didn't want to be rude and like walk in the door and have like a Haley Joel Osment moment and be like, there's dead people in your home. But it was so strange because I guess Chris had told them that I'm really into the paranormal. His cousin actually approached me and is like, hey, like, you know, I used to really get weird vibes in my house and stuff would happen, and she supposedly had this friend who came over who was kind of like psychic or whatever, and she came in the house and utterly freaked out, said she'd never come back. She said she had a Ouija board, and she asked me if I would be up for doing a session, and I said yes. I said, you know, because my big rule, and this is on any investigation, like, I tolerate zero like joking around. Like, I'm like, if we're gonna do it, we're gonna do it for real. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna ask honest questions, we're gonna ask compelling questions, we're not gonna ask like silly questions. We were just asking basic questions like, are you from this area where we were in Louisiana? So strange because it was spelling things, and I really think that this was an honest experience that I had, because I sure as hell know I wasn't moving the board, and she honestly wanted some answers. So I really don't think that she was joking around either. The weird thing is it started spelling things out, but we were like, what is this? Like, we could not understand. It was just like a bunch of letters, and I was like, what does this mean? And so my brother went to go get paper, and he started writing it down, and we figured out that it was spelling things backwards, but it was spelling like Baton Rouge backwards. It was spelling like Louisiana backwards. Now the only thing that freaked me out a little bit was we asked, how old are you? And the one sign that I can say for you to tell if something would be demonic is if you ask how old it is and it says 0, and that's because it's never been alive. Like, it's never had a soul. That kind of made me nervous. But what was happening is it eventually spelled 10 backwards, like 01. And then I was like, okay, that's good. Like, I had to ask that question like 3 times because I was like, how old are you? Like, and I was like, please don't go to 0 again. We basically came to find out that he had somehow been affected by World War II. We think like his father, I don't know. We kind of got the impression that his father had been a victim and yet he passed at the same time. So there was some anger there, but it was like an unresolved issue. And so we think that that's kind of why the spirit was lingering. But once again, I mean, I personally do not do Ouija board sessions unless someone asks me to do it with them because they legitimately have like a question or concern. To anybody out there who legitimately thinks that they are having paranormal experiences, please don't start with the Ouija board. Don't take anything you get off of it, you know, as like gospel truth, because once again, when you buy it in the box, it's called a game. Like, it's not called like scientific proof of the afterlife. I know investigators that won't come within like 100 feet of them. They're like, no Ouija board. Like, I have people who investigate with me and they specifically tell me to not bring a Ouija board. Here are just some quick how-tos and tips on how to use the Ouija board. First of all, patience is key. Like, do not expect it to move immediately. It will not happen. Generally, my rule is before I ask another question or repeat the question, I wait 1 minute for it to start moving at all. And I mean, most of the time when I feel I'm getting legitimate responses, it moves slow. Second of all is with any paranormal investigation, you only want to ask serious questions, because once again, if it's a malevolent spirit and it's already there, just making fun of it, teasing it, taunting it, asking it ridiculous questions is only going to make it worse. Challenging it is only going to make it worse. My best advice is to stick with, you know, very basic questions. What is your name? How old are you? You know, where did you come from? Why are you here? Are you content here? Are you malcontent here? You know, things like that, just to kind of get a feel for who it is that you may be dealing with, and what they may be wanting from you. Lots of times it is my pure belief that there is energy, there are spirits here that all they want to do is communicate. They want their presence to be known, and they will try all kinds of things to make their presence known. And sometimes it just ends up frightening people. Sometimes it ends up like seeming malevolent, but it's really not. They just want attention. Ghosts are people, even though they're dead people, and you wouldn't like being ignored, would you? Neither do they. And then at the end of every session, just to make sure, you know, that I haven't upset anything, I always thank them for their time, thank them for their responses, and you always want to say goodbye, and that's what the goodbye is down here for. You move the planchette to goodbye, and that's supposed to close the session. So, as usual, please take a moment to subscribe. I hope this video was okay.
Do you smell that? Seriously, do you smell that? More horse shit. As I said before, the Ouija board is not what you think it is, but it's also exactly what you think it is. And she fell into the riddle of exactly what she thought it was, which it is not at all. It's a doorway. And she came up with this concoction in her head. When she asked the question of the board, she said, "How old are you? Have you ever been here before?" And it said 0. And her mind automatically, not her heart, her mind automatically went into the demonic, stating, she said, that this energy, this entity has never been incarnated, implying and applying it to the fact it must be demonic. Real angels are said to not ever incarnate either. So why does she lean into the idea that it's demonic? And things begin to topple from there. The domino effect began to happen from there. And like I said earlier, when the person said, "You better not sell on a Ouija board because there's such karmic backlash," things begin to topple from there. It's all nonsense and hogwash. Be careful, like the young lady said. When you get into a spiritual Ferrari, a Ferrari car, your spiritual Ferrari, Ouija, and you start hammering on the pedal, you better know how to drive your vehicle, your spiritual Ferrari, or your Ouija. It's all the same power. Every second, every minute, every hour. Don't let anyone kid you. Doesn't mean you have to go buy a board tomorrow because you're bored. It means you release yourself. Free yourself. You are free already. We always have been, all of us. How old? And the spirit said 0. So before I go tonight, Center of Light play, we're always playing with things. We are curious creatures. Here's the Ferris wheel over here in an amusement park. We want to go to an amusement park because we want to play. We want to be children again and play in the garden. And here's the Ferris wheel, and it represents peace. It's peaceful. Right? But we so desperately want to go on the roller coaster, which is not so peaceful. And we call that exhilaration and fun because we're bored. Ouija, bored. What is a psychomantium? If you are not ready to delve into the realms of spirit, don't blame it on the Ouija. Don't blame it on any divination tool. Don't blame it on anything. And most importantly, don't blame it on yourself. You're just simply not ready. What is a psychomantium? It's a different way of a pendulum, Ouija board. A psychomantium, Dr. Raymond Moody. It's real. It's a doorway. You want to visit with your deceased loved ones? I see dead people. They're not dead. They're very much alive. More so in the state of bliss than we're trying to get to, unfold into. What is a psychomantium? Dr. Raymond Moody. Look him up. His work is powerful. Psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever his background is in the field of doctoring. Though you may not do this, probably not ready. And even if you are ready, you're probably not wanting to do it. But here's a good story of reality for you. Psychomantium, what is it? You get a very large mirror, bathroom size mirror. You put it behind you. Need I remind you, you are the doorway to everything. Good, bad, right, wrong, happy, sad, blues, love song. It's all you. And the power that lives in you creates worlds and universes. So you take a mirror that's a reflection of the spirit world, and you put that large mirror behind you. And you tilt the mirror so that as you look at yourself, you keep turning it upward until you are out of the picture, so to speak. You're out of the mirror image. And you put one candle behind you. It's called 1 lumen candle watt. A candle behind you. That's all you do. Everything else is black. And you look into this mirror that you've tilted till you finally disappear. Maybe become a deceased one yourself. You no longer can see yourself because you are now invisible in this reflection. You use one candle. Turn the mirror and you look. It is said that you will absolutely be able to see what you call dead. That so much so that they will be waiting in line to speak to you as if waiting at a phone booth all those years ago. Hello, Renee. Before you mess around with the devil, mess around with God. So much so, even Arad, you see that everything is of the same energy, loving, completing. So much so, it will help you complete with that which you love. And if your focus, attention, is on what you have been taught that brings you into the mire, into the quag, into the drag of what you believe, because you're taken it on by others who instilled that in you, you will always be a slave. Don't take that horse shit to your grave. Everything is usable to creating peace, love, abundance for all. Choose your tool wisely. Center of Light tonight has been Center of Light play. As innocent children in the garden of the divine, we play every night, every day. So what I say is pull out your Ouija board, not your literal one, whatever makes you feel that you can open up the gate to God itself, and angels will descend into your experience. It could be a picture of your child. That's your Ouija. In fact, there's numbers on it. March 31st, 2012. And there are words on it because you wrote the words yourself. How is this any different from the keyboard of the internet or the Ouija of the internet? It's about being smart. It's about being conscious. It's about being knowledgeable. There's lots of ignorance floating around. And it's the Ouija board to the gates of hell itself. Ignorance is deadly. It is absolutely not bliss. I love you. See you soon. Peace, love, and you are the light.